Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharia Way Book Club, where we are currently reading Hazrat Inayat Khan's The Mysticism of Sound and Music. And today we have reached a new section in the text called Aphorisms. And we have actually, oh my gosh, I miscalculated. I'm so sorry. We're in the section titled The Mysticism of Sound. I'm sorry for the confusion. I'm going to take a moment to update the announcement just for continuity. So I appreciate y'all for waiting. So this section is called The Mysticism of Sound. There we go. All right, so this is the section, The Mysticism of Sound. And within this section, this is chapter 1, titled The Silent Life. The life absolute from which has sprung all that is felt, seen, and perceived, and into which all again merges in time, is a silent, motionless, and eternal life that among the Sufis is called Zat. Every motion that springs forth from this silent life is a vibration and a creator of vibrations. Within one vibration are created many vibrations. As motion causes motion, so the silent life becomes active in a certain part and creates every moment more and more activity, losing thereby the peace of the original silent life. It is the grade of the activity of these vibrations that accounts for the various planes of existence. These planes are imagined to differ from one another, but in reality, they cannot be entirely detached and made separate from one another. The activity of vibrations makes them grosser, and thus the earth is born from the heavens or of the heavens. And just to clarify, this is a read-aloud container. I don't think if I clarified that at the beginning. So I'll continue reading. The mineral, vegetable, animal, and human kingdoms are the gradual changes of vibrations, and the vibrations of each plane differ from one another in their weight, breadth, length, color, effect, sound, and rhythm. People are not only formed of their vibration, but they live and move in them. They surround them as the fish is surrounded by water, and they contain them within them as the tank contains water. Their different moods, inclinations, affairs, successes, and failures, and all the conditions of life depend upon a certain activity of vibrations, whether these be thoughts, emotions, or feelings. It is the direction of the activity of vibrations that accounts for the variety of things and beings. This vibratory activity is the basis of sensation and the source of all pleasure and pain. Its cessation is the opposite of sensation. All sensations are caused by a certain grade of activity of vibration. There are two aspects of vibration, fine and gross, both containing varied degrees. Some are perceived by the soul, some by the mind, and some by the eyes. What the soul perceives are the vibrations of feelings. What the mind conceives are the vibrations of the thoughts. What the eyes see are the vibrations solidified from their ethereal state and turned into atoms that appear in the physical world, constituting the elements ether, air, fire, water, and earth. The finest vibrations are imperceptible even to the soul. The soul itself is formed of these vibrations. It is their activity that makes it conscious. Creation begins with the activity of consciousness, which might be called vibration, and every vibration starting from its original source is the same, differing only in its tone and rhythm caused by a greater or lesser degree of force behind it. On the plane of sound, vibration causes diversity of tone, and in the world of atoms, diversity of colors. It is by massing together that the vibrations become audible, but at each step towards the surface, they multiply, and as they advance, they materialize. Sound gives to the consciousness an evidence its existence, although it is in fact the active part of the consciousness itself that turns into sound. The knower, so to speak, becomes known to themselves. In other words, the consciousness bears witness to its own voice. It is therefore that sound appeals to people. All things being derived from and formed of vibrations have sound hidden within them, as fire is hidden in flint. And each atom of the universe confesses by its tone, quote, my sole origin is sound. If any solid or sonorous body is struck, it will answer back, I am sound. Sound has its birth, death, sex, form, planet, God, color, childhood, youth, and age. But that volume of sound that is in the abstract, beyond the sphere of the concrete, is the origin and basis of all sound. Both sound and color make their effect on the human soul according to the law of harmony. To a fine soul, color appeals, and to a still finer soul, sound. Tone has either a warm or cold effect according to its element, since all elements are made of different degrees of vibration. Therefore, sound can produce an agreeable or disagreeable effect on people's mind and body, and has its healing effect in the absence of herbs and drugs, which also have their origins in vibrations. Manifestations being formed of vibrations. The planets are the primal manifestations, each planet having its peculiar tone. Therefore, every note represents one planet. Every individual, therefore, has a note peculiar to themselves that is according to their birth planet. For this reason, a certain tone appears to a person according to the grade of their evolution. Every element has a sound peculiar to itself. In the finer elements, the circle of sound expands, and in the grosser elements, it narrows. It is therefore distinct in the former and indistinct in the latter. The earth has its various aspects of beauty as well as of variety in sound. Its pitch is on the surface, its form is crescent-like, and its color is yellow. The sound of the earth is dim, dull, and produces a thrill, activity, and movement in the body. All instruments of wire and gut, as well as the instruments of percussion, such as the drum, cymbals, etc., represent the sound of earth. Would anyone else like to pick up reading? No pressure. If not, I'll continue. The sound of water is deep. Its form is serpent-like, its color green, and it is best heard in the roaring of the sea. The sound of running water, of mountain rills, and the drizzling and pattering of rain. The sound of water running from a pitcher into a jar, from a pipe into a tub, from a bottle into a glass. All have a smooth and lively effect, and a tendency to produce imagination, whim, dream, affection, emotion. The instrument called the jalatarang is an arrangement of china bowls or glasses graduated in size and filled with water in proportion to the desired scale. More water lowers the tone, and less raises it. These instruments have a touching effect upon the emotions of the heart. The sound of fire is high pitched, its form is curdled, and its color red. It is heard in the falling of the thunderbolts and in a volcanic eruption, in the sound of a fire when blazing, and the noise of squibs, crackers, rifles, guns, and cannons. All these have a tendency to produce fear. The sound of air is wavering, its form zigzag and its color blue. Its voice is heard in storms, when the wind blows, and in the whisper of the morning breeze. Its effect is breaking, sweeping, and piercing. The sound of air finds expression in all wind instruments made of wood, brass, and bamboo. It has a tendency to kindle the fire of the heart, and as Rumi writes in his Masnavi about the flute, Krishna is always portrayed in Indian art with a flute. The air sound overpowers all other sounds, for it is living, and in every aspect its influence produces ecstasy. The sound of ether is self-contained. It holds all forms and colors. It is the base of all sounds and is the undertone that is ever continuous. Its instrument is the human body because it can be audible through it. Although it is all pervading, yet it is unheard. It manifests to people as they purify their bodies from material properties. The body can become its proper instrument when the space within is opened, when all the tubes and veins in it are free. Then the sound that exists eternally in space becomes manifest inwardly also. Ecstasy, illumination, restfulness, fearfulness, rapture, joy, and revelation are the effects of this sound. To some it manifests of itself, to others when they are in a negative state caused by weakness of the body or mind. To neither of these it is a benefit, but on the other hand, it causes them to become abnormal. This sound only elevates those who open themselves to it by the sacred practices known to the mystics. The sound of earth and water, coming lead has a tendency and a delicacy. The sound of earth and fire produces harshness. The sound of earth and air has strength and power. The sound of water and fire has a lively, animating effect. The sound of water with ether has a soothing, comforting effect. The sound of fire and air has a terrifying and fearsome effect. The sound of fire with ether has a breaking and freeing effect. The sound of air with ether produces calm and peace. Thank you all so much for tuning into this read aloud container. I want to emphasize that the container or the time that I will be holding space for this discussion or the discussing of this chapter will take place every Saturday, or usually takes place every Saturday, and will take place this Saturday at 11 a.m. Louisiana time. And I encourage you all to join us by joining the Broom Discord server. Thank you all for tuning in.